Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of Valpo Football Weekly, brought to you by Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute. Brandon Vickery with you. Glad to be joined by the head coach of the Valpo football program, Landon Fox, as we look back at Saturday's game at Dayton. And, well, at Morehead State, you overcame a slow start to win the game. At Dayton, you did overcome an early deficit to come back and take the lead. But how important is it to get off to better starts to games going forward?
Yeah, I mean that's critical in terms of if you want to have success, because you don't want to keep digging yourself out of the hole. But the reality is, you just have to execute at a higher level, and the ability to play good defense, and you had 28 missed tackles, and the inability to tackle and stop drives, and then you can't have turnovers that lead to points. And it was disappointing all the way around, just because we didn't play as well as we could, and that's where it hurts, and so that's the frustrating part of it.
You mentioned the missed tackles. I'm sure that's part of this next question, but Dayton ran for over 300 yards. What do you have to do to stop the run, or what made it so easy for them to move the ball on the ground on Saturday?
Yeah. Number one, we have to be assignment sound. Right now we have to make sure that we're putting guys in proper position to make plays. And so that means as a coaching staff to reevaluate, hey, do we have the right guys in the right spots? And if we don't, then we got to make sure that we do. And then schematically make sure that they understand what they're doing, and that they're in the right positions to make those plays. And then when they get there, then ultimately, they have to make the tackle, and then have multiple people there to make the tackle. Like there's going to be times where you miss it, all right, but you have to have the ability to have more than just one guy there. And that's something that we stressed all week, in terms of we knew the quarterback was an elusive guy, and we just didn't do a very good job containing him.
One thing that's been fun to watch from an outside standpoint is how many close games there's been this season, but it a lot of times comes down to little details, and penalties were one of them on Saturday. What do you do to clean that up, or how important is it to clean up a few of those penalties going forward?
Yeah, we do. And for us, and for what I need to do as a head coach, is you can't play those guys that are going to make decisions based on themselves, and that's a very honest statement in terms of me as the head coach. But we can't have three unsportsmanlike conduct penalties where we're making decisions that are solely based on frustration, emotion. We have to think better. We have to be a better teammate for that not to happen. And so that's just the disappointing part of it, and which led to drives for them. And if you think about it, it also led for potentially not having points. We had a field goal that got pushed back 15 yards, so went from a 35-yard field goal or 33-yard field goal to roughly a 50-yard field goal, and so potentially took 3 points off the board, and then led to their drives on offense. So we have to clean that up, and it's happened multiple times. So that's where, as a coach, we have to make a change in order for that it resonates with the players.
Let's talk about one of the real bright spots, the way you move the ball through the air. Braden Contreras, Solomon Davis, 100-yard receiving games. Michael Apple, the best passing day for a Valpo quarterback in 5 years. How did the aerial attack work so well on Saturday?
Well, they were going to sell it to stop the run, and Brandon, I think you and I talked about that pre-game, and if you wanted to be able to run the football, you're going to have to throw it. And Dayton really didn't adjust much, and they said, hey, we're going to continue to allow you to throw the ball. And there at the end of the game, I feel that we should have continued, to throw it there at the end, in that 4-minute drive where we ran it a couple of times. That, the way that they were just matching routes, and the way that they were fitting run plays, and that we're gonna load the box to stop the run. They gave you the ability to throw the football, and have very good receivers, and obviously Mikey was strong, throwing the ball well. So be able to take advantage of what they're giving you.
Let's turn the page this week. You host a St. Thomas team that's won 7 straight games. They come in undefeated in Pioneer Football League play. What's made them so good, and what's led to their success this season?
Yeah, they're a very, very good football team. Good talent. The thing that we're going to have to do, a very physical team on both sides of the ball, really in all three phases. Offensively, defensively, and special teams. I've done a really nice job in terms of recruiting and the ability to get really good football players, and so obviously that allows them to have success. But it's a program too that's had stability. That their coaching staff's been there, a long time, and so they do what they do, and it's not there's nothing there that's going to trick you. But they're going to come right at you, and they're going to come right at you for 60 minutes. And so you have to be prepared to play a 60-minute game of being extremely physical and executing at a high level. That's what they do well. And they understand what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to do it. And they really buy into that, and they do a very nice job.
Well, from a fan standpoint, it's been almost exclusively close games and fun to watch. So come check out the team on Saturday, 1:00 at Brownfield. Tickets, valpoathletics.com/tickets. And thanks everyone for joining us this week. We'll talk to you again next week on Valpo Football Weekly, and it's brought to you by Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute.